Good morning and salam sejahtera. Program Coordinator for Diploma in Human Resource Management under School of Business and Accountancy of Masa Avenue International College. So before we start our forum session, so let me brief a little bit about our School of Business and Accountancy of in MAIC. So School of Business and Accountancy, we provide industry-based program in developing and nurturing students not only toward the academic excellence but also to furnish them with relevant skill in meeting the workforce requirement. So under School of Business, so we have 4 programs. So we have Diploma in Business, so we have Diploma in Accounting, Certificate in Business, and Diploma in Human Resource Management. So I'm not alone today, so we brought you a special guest. So Ms. Nita Yusnee, Head of School Business and Accountancy, as well lecturer in the HRM program. So hi Ms. Nita, how are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
So thank you thank you to spend your time to be in this sharing session. So today, we will share another interesting topic in terms of the diversity, equality, and inclusion (DEI) at workplace. So together with me today, Ms. Nita. So she will share her view and expertise so that it can be a good learning experience for us and students as well. So Ms. Nita, so we start for our forum session.
Sure.
So based on the topic just now, we talk about DEI in terms of the diversity, equality, and inclusions. So we know how high diversity, equity, and inclusion practice are on your priority list if you lead a modern organization. So when we talk about diversity, of course, we are represent in terms of the various cultures. We talk about the background, we talk about the ages, the races, sexuality. And when we talk about diversity, DEI, it's also refer to giving equal employment opportunity and recognitions to every worker. So my first question to Ms. Nita. So Ms. Nita, can you share with us, so what diversity, equality, and inclusions mean to you in workplace scenario, and why DEI become important topic nowadays?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Katie. First of all, I would like also to say thank you for the opportunity to invite me to also share this very important and also interesting topic, not only among us, but also it has been talked among other industries around the world, as it has been a focus and put emphasis on how companies should not only practice but acknowledge the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, first of all, we need to understand what is DEI. Okay, it is not what I call that. You need to learn, you need to know, and how actually the most important thing, how do you practice and what I call preach on ensuring that companies, okay, the people are being valued and also included. Okay, there are 3 components, like you said. It is interconnected. Okay, when you talk about diversity, it is diverse. That means who are these people? Like you said, race, okay, the demographic background, age, all right, even include the disability, people, ethnicity, even sexual orientation. That what most companies in any countries are talk about, whether okay, the LGBTQ plus, for example, how do you view these kind of issues? Okay, and in terms of equity is how do you provide fair treatment? Okay, you don't look people based on their look, okay, people based on their age, because you also have this EEO, okay, equal employment opportunity, that is also practiced in Malaysia and around the countries. And when you talk about equity, it is not only about giving fair treatment, but how do you ensure that what kind of fair treatment that you think, whether these particular people should be given justice in terms of compensation, okay, remuneration and whatnot. And also inclusion is the most key point that companies are now focusing in terms of engagement. Okay, that's why when you talk about people management, talent management, how do you see these employees, how do you see these people in order for you to retain, because employee retention is important. We don't want to have what I call that a turnover that is high because you are not feel valued. Okay, according to one of the research done by International Labour Organization ILO in 2022, 1 out of 4 employees left the company. So the main reason being that they are undervalued, meaning okay, they are not being acknowledged of their work. They have done all of their commitment, but they are not being, recognized for that. So these are the 3 components. So why DI is an important component now, I stress here on some important points. The first one is to provide healthy company culture. So we are not focusing in terms of one race, in terms of one religion, for example, because you always say, okay, we are diverse company. So how do you ensure that when you are talking about diversity, actually you have a good culture, meaning you appreciate different backgrounds, you acknowledge differences among people, regardless whether they are skin color different, age, all right. Even some controversial issues nowadays, people are talking about age gap. Right, sometimes you are 50 years old, you want to apply for another job, but then there are some companies say that you're quite old. How do you think that you can perform this? Okay, this is also have been the controversial issues in certain employment and recruitment process. Okay, next, to provide better range of skills, meaning skills sharing, knowledge sharing, because if, for example, you work in a company that does not practice diversity, how do you being open up in terms of how do you share expertise? Oh, I don't want to share with you, Miss Katie, because you are not Malay, for example. So you will feel isolated and you may feel like I've been treated discriminatorily. Okay? And then the third one, of course, to provide better and also to foster better ideas, creativity, and innovation. We meant, for example, in terms of age. Okay, some companies they may want to hire that is also you need to ensure how do you define age and how do you ensure that the different ages, different gaps can have a better ideas. But having good DEI in an organization can provide better sharing of ideas and provide innovative concept. And of course, in the sense that you practice good diversity, equity, and inclusion, you will gain respect from the public, your stakeholders. That means your business will be boosted, your business will be much reputed, reputation is there. And the most important thing is that you will have a happier employees and their productivity will be increased. I have this one term, what they call neurodiversity. Okay, so neurodiversity is a very good practice that many companies are now focusing at, meaning you have to understand in any organization there will be few people that have mental disorder. That's why I can see that many companies are now focusing on mental health, providing such a good well-being to the employees. So neurodiversity is important because you need to study about the mental diversity. That means how people punya brain lah, the brains of the people.
Perspective.
Yes, perspective. How they do feel happy, the mood. If you learn organizational behavior, how do you study about people, attitude different? So for example, you need to very, very much focus on those people who have anxiety at work, stress, even can lead to depression, and some people may have some, what we didn't see, the hidden kind of sickness, for example, ADHD, OCD, or maybe autism, or this person may have some certain disability, but we ignore it. That is neurodiversity that we need to cater. And the last one, of course, it will also link to the understanding of your customers better, because we know that the frontliners are the one that always relate to the outsiders. So when you appreciate them and when you acknowledge them, they will bring a better image to the public. That's my for question 1.
Wow, okay. So thank you, Miss Nita. So you mentioned that when we talk about DEI, also what we call that very important to company culture,
Yes,
isn't it? Because DEI, they can foster the creativity, the fresh perspective and understanding.
Yes.
So of gender, sexual oriented and others background can be more comfortable in the workplace.
Yes.
Because you are creating a positive environment, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so my question, do you think DEI initiative, the initiate have influenced you and work on bringing a change at the workplace?
Okay, good question. How do you see and how do you experience the first thing that you need to know is that, do you experience any diversity? Do you feel that you are being valued? Do you see that the culture in your organization is much more friendly, much more, you call that organistic punya kind of culture? Okay, like I said just now, okay, one in 4 people, they left because they not feel valued. So when you talk about value in the sense that inclusion, okay, sometimes yes, I have the experience where some of the people, they left, okay, they withdrawn from certain companies because number one, whatever that they do, they are not being appreciated, recognized. Some people or some employees, they may not think much of the salary wise or money value, but they need to be valued because, okay, I have provided a lot to the companies. How do you contribute it? How you have given so much effort, okay, so much commitment, but at the end of the day, you feel like, okay, I've done this, but what is happening to me? One good example is, how do you appreciate your employee? Just say thank you. Hi, thank you, Katie, for the nice work. It's a very good one. Or you share the happiness, you share the good thing that your employees have done to the others because you need to compliment them. Sometimes say thank you is a very good appreciation, okay? So how do I see the change? How this can bring a change? The first thing is respect. Okay, when you talk about diversity, okay, I give you a good example whenever that we talk about diversity, culture, even different races. Or example, you may see one person in an organization, for example, a gay person. Okay, it's not like I agree or not. It's just agree or disagree. But how do you see that person? Do you see the person as if, oh, he's gay, I don't want to be with this person, or this person is a very bad influence. But do you see how this person, even though he may have a different sexual orientation, can bring good value to the company?
Yes, correct.
Yes. Or even you see, like nowadays, many companies in Malaysia are talking about gender equity, right? Because before this, you see, before 1960s, I've read some of the articles, women are not being valued, right? Even you can see nowadays in certain countries, they are not even allowed for the corporate ladder, like in the very high position. So what I can see from my perspective, respect is important, meaning that you don't have to say like, okay, I respect you. You have to practice. And then number 2 is, how do you see the, like you said, perspective of the attitude of the mindset of people. When you talk, oh, he's old, no, he's non-Malay, or he's non-citizen, for example. So DEI is a must for any management to look into in order for them to bring a good change in the respect way. And how do you value differences? Because when you talk about diversity, it's differences among people. For example, maybe I'm senior and I have a junior staff or junior team member. So they may bring a differences in our project. So I need to be open. I need to be optimistic. And then you need to make an effort in terms of recruitment and hiring. So sometimes you may see that the experience, okay, when you look at the resume, oh, very old. Oh, this one very a fresh graduate. How can, even though he has a very high qualification? That's why you have to be blind. Okay, you blinded yourself in terms of when you look at the resume, you look at what is the core competencies. That's why like we talk about knowledge, skills, abilities, and other credentials, right? So that means for me, respect, okay, the mind perspective of the people in your companies and having a valued, okay, how do you value people can bring a good change for that employees to retain in your companies.
Yeah, very what you call that, very good input in terms of the, from your explanation just now. Okay, so we talk about diversity. Okay, we talk about, because nowadays mostly organization, of course, they are they are open to, they are welcome fresh graduate even
Yes.
though you don't have any experience.
Correct.
Kan?
Correct.
Okay, so my second question, so how you describe the way you think about diversity and inclusions now? How has it changed over time?
All right, this is from my perspective and my experience since I've been working with quite a number of companies and with different people and also culture and also maybe CEOs and whatnot. Okay, what I see is that when you talk about diversity, the first thing is that how do you look at the person? For example, Miss Nora Shikin. Example lah, Miss Shikin. Okay, she may be younger than me, but how should I treat her? Oh, Shikin, should I talk to her like, Shikin, do this, Shikin, do that? No, right? Because that is disrespect in terms of communication. Because communication also reflect the way you value the person.
You approach that
Yes,
person.
how do you approach? You cannot say, hey, 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 like that person doesn't have any name. Okay, so before this, okay, I read in one journal. Okay, before this, during the Industrial Revolution, the companies were not focusing on what is diversity. They don't even understand that. That's why you can see that most of the women were housewife, even though they have graduated from college or high school, they got married, they have children, and then they stuck at home and do some kitchen work. But they assume that men are the one who provide. But after the 60s, after the 1960s until now, I can see that there is a very good change in terms of companies. In order for you to retain your good employees, the first thing is that does your company practice diversity, equity, and inclusion? A good example, if you do a project, okay? For example, some students, even us also, we only need to choose the one that the same mind with us. Meaning that, okay, I want to be with you, okay, I want to go lunch with you. That means you have click. That is not practicing diversity. Okay, for example, it doesn't reflect your image. Okay, you say that to the people outside, your stakeholders, you are practicing diversity, we treat people equally, but reality behind the screen, it is not happening. Okay, so when you see the changes, I can see that for me, it has changed from time to time after like 5 decades of the Industrial Revolution has passed, and even our Employment Act has been amended because they want to see giving more empowerment to the employees. Meaning, okay, like you said, Generation Z, for example, they are good, they are fresh graduate, they bring very good, we call that aggressive skills, good competencies. Okay, but you don't forget those who also have some sort of experience, maybe a bit older, maybe can bring something. So that's why I can see that but there are certain elements in terms of race still have some discrimination, but you need to practice diversity first. What is diversity? Okay, it has changed, and my experience throughout my working experience, I can also see that how I understand diversity working with different background of people.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Miss Nita. Okay, very what we call that great explanation. Okay, so 99% of the and inclusions. Okay, on the same note, okay, they also, I mean, that when we talk about DEI, you have to promote workplace diversity, equity, and inclusions by choosing inclusive language. Always strive to become more open, I mean, in terms of the open-minded and empathic leader. So from the, what we call it, from this article, so what are the, I mean, that can you share with us, Ms. Nita, in terms of the initiative or step that you have to use to educate employees on diversity and inclusions in the workplace? So what are the method ataupun ni lah what we call the initiative or step should be taken?
Okay, the first thing is that say let's do diversity practice. It's not like I want to do, it is a must. Because nowadays you are not working only with one particular group of employees, like, okay, I just want to focus one race. I have that experience, meaning I've have the experience working with majority of one race, one religion. But then you see that we are open up to diversity. No, it's no longer I want to do, but I must do, or it is a must. Because some people may say that, okay, why you hire this person that is not having good credential, but I am having a very good credential, good experience, not being hired. Why? So there must be a certain justification. Maybe that person has something that hidden, a talent, for example. Okay, so the first thing is that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a must to be practiced. For you to retain employees, for you to value employees, you must be there, you must be involved, because you just cannot say from the management side, okay, let's do this, but you are not there to engage yourself, okay? So you need to be champion. As a good leader, to practice effective leadership skill in transforming the mindset of people is the first thing to create awareness. So these are some of the approaches that I think are good to practice. You need to create awareness. That means everybody must know first what is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Some people, they may not know what is that equity. Oh, what is that? What is inclusion? How do I include myself? So you need to at least provide some basic training on DI. Nowadays, you can see a lot of online training or some physical training are now doing leadership skill on DI management, yes, equality, okay? And then you need to talk openly. Okay, that means like for those maybe for example, like operative level, lower level employees, they may not know well. So you need to talk to them openly. Maybe you call them for a group discussion. Okay, let's talk about diversity. Even like you are in the same race, for example, some people may not be liking one another. Right, for example, you and the other person Malay. But when it comes to group work, project, oh, I don't want to work with you. Even in the same races, in the same kind of gender also, there must be some issue. Then educate. Okay, first you create awareness and understanding, you talk openly, then you educate them, meaning provide some training. Provide some forum like we are doing, discussion to bring out what is DEI and how it can bring change to the companies and boost up their productivity and happiness. Okay, and then promote and celebrate. That means you need to do, doesn't mean campaign, but you go way around wandering, okay, to see, to experience firsthand, okay, does my company actually practice a good DEI? And celebrate meaning, okay, we have different cultures like celebrate Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, potluck. This is a good one, Deepavali, you do dancing, you can see me shaking dancing with the sari that day, very nice. So that is, she appreciates, meaning, even though I'm Malay, I'm Muslim, but I want to also acknowledge other different culture punya festival, let's do it. It doesn't matter because other religions, other races like, wow, she's also wearing this sari to appreciate our culture.
Yes.
Like you're also wearing baju kurung for Hari Raya, meaning that you have to promote so that youngsters nowadays, they may not understand. But when you practice, when you show by demonstration, they will follow. Okay, and then not only that, you need to have frequent communication. Sometimes meeting is a good platform, or you have your WhatsApp group, and sometimes you may need to follow up with them. Okay, and the most important thing, try to reduce biasness in recruitment and hiring process. Sometimes I can see that some experience, oh, you choose this person, okay, this one is okay, or sometimes they like nepotism, for example. It's okay to bring, but you need to ensure that to practice fairness and equality, everybody must be screened accordingly. You must have a standard procedures. Okay, if I have a pile of resumes, how do I process? Should I look at the picture first? Oh, not beautiful, not slim,
Not handsome.
not handsome. Okay, then there are some industry need that require macam example airline says you have a certain fixed requirements that you cannot change. But in certain industry macam education, academic, then how you select them? And the good one is that you must be involved. Management must also engage. You always tell your people that, okay, you do this, do that, do CSR, do here, but you never involve. you never get engaged. A good example that you can see practice is by Google company, right? Starbucks, they always involve their people from the start until making decision. That's how they include. That's why you can see that majority of the workers at Google, they retain for a long time. They don't want to leave because they may have average salary, but they are happy there because they are included. That's my approaches.
Okay, we can move to the next questions. Okay, so I'm not attracted lah. I read these kinds of quotes in the Google just now. So a more diverse talent pools brings fresher perspective and potential for more innovation. So implementing DEI in the workplace can be challenging and of course required a strategic thinking and planning.
Correct.
So in your opinion, Ms. Nita, so what are the barriers to diversity and inclusions have you noticed? I mean that in certain company or maybe from your work experience?
It's a good question, like what you said just now. When you talk about DEI, it's easy, but how do you implement, how do you practice is very, very tough, very difficult because
Quite challenging.
yeah, we may be in the same boat, but you may have different navigator, you may have different people, you may have different supervisors. But how do you ensure that they are synchronized one another? Yes, from my experience, from my observation as well, working with different people from time to time, there are certain difficulties or there must be some problems in resisting to change because the first thing, like I said, mindset of people. Oh, I'm very some people they may comfortable zone. Then suddenly you change a new system, you implement a new approach, innovation. Oh, I cannot. Then you decide to withdraw. But the first thing, I'm very interested with this kind of the term homophily. A very new term for me also. Homophily means that the tendency of individuals to associate with others that are similar to them. Meaning, you can see that when you giving group work to the students or staff got some project, I want to be with you. I don't. Yeah, for example, or if I say that Katie, you do with Shikin or you do with Arif. Why lah? Miss Nita, you give me. You may say, okay, noted, but at the end of my bag, you can, I cannot. And then it was a group, click. So homophily means you have this perspective that I just want to be with the person who have similarity with me. That is biasness already. So it is difficult to change. Even though you may say that change your teamwork, but still you have the same because you may say that we are better like this. We are because you said we are having understanding among others. Okay, so this is common. Even I also experienced not only in this company but my previous companies we experienced that. But sometimes we never realize. Oh, is it? Oh, really? When you talk about it, oh, really? I never realized that. But it is practice. But you need to avoid that to happen, okay? That's why when we teach students whenever to do group work, I always stress that find a different members because you need to see, like you said, fresh idea, innovation. Then number two, another critical difficulty is in-group favoritism. This one is clear cut. Any companies happen, but we did not even recognize why. Sometimes you give a special treatment to this person because they are in the same group. So this is related to homophily. Okay, for example, I give you special treatment, but I didn't give the same treatment to other person. So this will create discrimination in terms of favoritism. Okay, so this is a tendency that you provide a special preferential to those who have similar perspective to me. This is what you call biasness. For example, promotion. Oh, I want to, for example, if I'm the higher top management, okay, I'll increase your salary for maybe 1,000. This person maybe just 500 without realizing that favoritism is there. So this is a danger sign actually, a warning sign that homophily in group favoritism is actually there. But we did not realize clearly, but it happens, okay? And then bias perception, like I said, for example, just now, oh, he's gay. I just know that he's gay. Why he's here? Why the management accepts this person to work? So your perspective against like bias in terms of minority. For For example, Miss Katie, you are from Sarawak, so you are the only one here, for example lah. Then some people may look like, oh, Sarawak, oh, which kampung, oh, very urban, rural lah. How you survive? Sometimes people say, oh, you go back Sarawak, bring roti ah. No, it's not good, because you did not look at the person in terms of what the person can bring, like skills, expertise, like you say, even the thinking, even the ideas, okay? And not only that, another difficulties is the management, okay? The management involvement. Sometimes they may say what they wanted to do, but it is not being practiced. And sometimes management, they never involve. In certain company, they just, okay, I want you to do this, let's do practice, okay, whenever there is a press conference ke, PR, okay, we talk about this, but after that, nothing happens. So these are some of the key points on the why there are difficulties on change in terms of the AI.
Okay, so that one is a part of the barrier.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Just now you mentioned about what we call that nepotism, and then we have in-group favoritism,
homophilia.
Homophilia. Okay, so Ms. Nita, so for example, now we relate about more to HR punya ni lah. Okay, so what practice you will implement to ensure that we don't recruit with bias? Just now you mentioned about favoritism.
Yes, yes.
So what are the proper ni lah, what we call the procedure, or what are the proper step lah?
Okay, there is no one rule fix all of the system, right? Meaning that the manager first needs to look, what are you looking for? It's not who are you looking for. Okay, for example, if I want to hire new marketer, okay, so first thing that you need to understand is that what kind of job scope, okay, the credentials or competency that this person may need to fulfill, rather than who is this person, how old, okay. So the first thing from my perspective in terms of human resource concept, you need to identify, okay, what makes biasness happens in recruitment. So we call this as unconscious bias, meaning you may have the favor of one segment over another, meaning, oh, I want to have this, I don't want this, oh, I want to have this person to work in my company, but this one I just reject, not good, maybe disabled person. So this is a very sensitive thing to talk about, like we have EOQ, we have gender equality, we have Disability Act, for example, okay. So when unconscious bias happen, we did not realize. Okay, we practice that, meaning you favor on certain group or segment, but you are not having another favor on the other group. They are not being given chances, for example. Yes, so that's why this will lead to favoritism. Like I said, favoritism, or maybe, oh, this, please choose this. You don't have to do interview with this person. She's my future wife. She's my future husband. Please have something cable. We call it like cable, right? That's what normally happen. How do you come here? Oh, my uncle working here. Oh, okay lah, no problem lah, like that. No. Okay, so how do you do that? The first thing is that you, in terms of HR practitioners, you sit down together with your team, all right, before you can practice what we call effective approach of recruitment without biasness. Let them understand. You talk to them, like I said, communicate with them. Do you understand what do you mean by diversity? Do you know who you are looking at? What are you looking at when these candidates apply for a job? So understand first, okay, and then let them understand the prejudice, meaning that the biasness, what kind of biasness happens. Then number two, again, educate, give them training. There must be some employees may not know well about recruitment process better, okay. And the most important thing, give them empowerment. That means hold them to be accountable. Don't pass, okay, my boss. No, sometimes when you are given that project or you are given that task to be handled, they give you empowerment. So it is your accountability. What should I do in terms of, okay, when this happens, what should I do? You must have a good problem solving skills. That's why we're looking at soft skill. You must be good in communication. All right. And then the most important thing, try to amend or modify the job description so that you can cater, because nowadays you can see some companies, they even shut down one department. Okay, they may not have the proper personnel to hire. So you modify the job description to cater the needs and also to see what these youngsters, what these unemployed or people who are looking for the job can bring to the company. And the most key point also, make decision that is driven by data. By data means You have the resumes, okay? You have a compile of resumes, job application, okay? Then these people come for the interview. That's why we have data analytic or business analytic. Why? You need to do some statistics to ensure that which is the potential candidate that you want to have. You have HRIS, Human Resource Information System, Management Information System. There are certain software that can help you to see the percentage or possibility who you can hire, okay, rather than just looking at the person, okay, this one is okay, oh, good background, okay. And last one, like I said just now, blind resume review. So I have a resume, I have 20 resumes, okay, don't look at the picture, oh, this one tak nak lah, orang kampung, no. Oh, this one from this, how can they travel? First, you look at, like I said, academic, of course, you need to see what their education background to suit, whether they can suit for the position, maybe some work experience, all right, and then the most important thing is the credentials, the competencies. Okay, like I love this one statement, okay, you can learn all the hands-on, but you must have good attitude. So that is also part of the diversity, equity, inclusion. So if you don't have proper attitude, you don't have positive mindset, how can you work and how can the company survive? So that's some of the approaches.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Thank you, Ms. Nita.
Yeah, no problem.
Such an informative input and sharing for today forum session. Okay. So we came to the end. Okay. So we hope that in the future we can share another good topic. Okay, so to the academic students and viewers, okay, so thank you for your time as well. So for those that want to know more about our program and MAIC, so please visit our website www.maic.edu.my. So for that, stay safe